Hey, here we go again. It's in the news media. Star Trek truck drivers will strike for 24 hours next week as Australia Post struggles with record volume of parcels. Star Trek workers will hold a 24-hour strike Thursday next week, claiming the company's management has declined an invitation to hold an urgent negotiation meeting this week. Truck drivers say they have been asking the company to include guarantees in their enterprise agreement to lessen the impact of outsourcing. The company has knocked them back. Transport Workers Union says Truck Trek has been outsourcing work at increasing rates to over 70% at some yards, and the practice is threatening employees' jobs. Star Trek is owned by Australia Post. The vote to strike next week comes after Australia Post delivered more parcels last month than during the Christmas period last year due to COVID lockdowns across the country. In the most recent financial year, the Australia Post reported a record group revenue of $8.3 billion, up 10.3%, and a profit before tax of $100.7 million. It's divided to the federal government of 46. Star Trek was the group's most profitable arm, with volumes up 12 points. Fight over enterprise agreement spreads across the industry. Star Trek workers are fighting for their enterprise agreement to include the same pay and conditions for labour hire workers as employees. They also want a guarantee to include caps on the use of outside hire and commitment to offer all available hours to Star Trek employees before contracting out. Transport Workers Union National Secretary Michael Keane said standards will be driven down across major transport operations in Australia as the country reels from the Amazon effect. He said Star Trek's management were toying with workers' livelihoods at the same time as workers were under intense pressure to deliver record volumes of parcels. Supply trains wrung dry by cost cutting and by wealthy retailers, while operators are forced to compete with a competitive Amazon Flex, Mr. King said. This would all be solved by an independent tribunal to set minimum production protections to workers. For months now, the workers sweating it out in the trucks and distribution centres to meet extreme demand have been battling behind the scenes to protect their jobs against an insurgence of outsourcing to lower paid workers. We know Australian community expects more from a government-owned Australia Post than from the hard-working people's jobs to be on the line when the demand and revenues are through the roof, he said. Last week, a ballot closed with 90% endorsement of strike action, giving about 2,000 Star Trek members roughly 70% of the workforce protection to strike. Australian employees can legally go on strike during enterprise bargaining negotiations if majority of workers supports the industrial action to vote overseen by a Fair Work Commission. 24-hour strike will occur next Thursday. Transport Workers Union says its members will not disrupt medical vaccine supplies from getting delivered, just like the recent toll strike provisions will be made on Thursday to ensure supply those could continue. Last month, around 7,000 truck drivers at transport giant Toll Group imposed a 24-hour strike after making similar requests for specific guarantees to be included in their enterprise agreement. As the company say, Star Trek spokesperson Shekan said the company was disappointed with the Transport Workers Union to go on strike, particularly when the lockdowns are still in place around the country. Star Trek has put its best and final player offer to the TWU, which includes a market-leading guaranteed pay rise of 9% over 3 years, delivered as 3% compounding each year, she said. This is the best pay offer among our competitors. Star Trek is not proposing any reductions in pay or conditions for its employees. Star Trek strongly rejects that job security is under threat. In fact, Star Trek enterprise agreements, which were negotiated with the Transport Workers Union in 2017 and 2018, already contain significant job security protections, including paying EBA labour rates to labour hire personnel, paying EBA labour rates to outside hire and independent contractors, and converting casual employees after regular and systematic engagement over a certain period of time. Mr. Skegan said as part of the current round of negotiations, Star Trek had further strengthened job security provisions by introducing the new labour hire conversion right, improving casual conversion rights, and improving auditing processes to ensure outside hire suppliers provide EBA rates of pay. We have acted and negotiated in good faith throughout the process for the Transport Workers Union to do the same, she said. Thousands of workers in other companies consider striking too. The Transport Workers Union said job security guarantees were being sought by thousands of workers at numerous major transport operations to defend against the push to compete business models like Amazon Flex by slashing labour costs and outsourcing work. A FedEx protected action ballot will close at 5 p.m. on Friday, and ballots at BevChain and Linfox will close on Monday and Tuesday, respectively. Negotiations are continuing at Toll, and Toll Global are expressed after last month's 24-hour strike by the thousands of truck drivers. Comes to Australian households continue to experience significant delays to mail delivery items. Australia Post said it unprecedented volumes of parcels in the lockdown area and was doing its best to manage the demand. Also recently had 500 staff on self-isolation as a result of a COVID. Australia Post Executive General Manager Gary Starr told ABC Radio Melbourne flight restrictions and temporary facility closures have also put a pressure on the network. It's been quite an unprecedented period for Australia Post. The Star said they just dollars. But you know, if all of these guys go on strike, that's when you really should be worried, because it'll have a huge knock on it. Get your Cowboys, that'll start shit up, and then you'll have the media starting shit, and it's just gonna kick off.